Exploring the different types of stupidity. We all know that feeling of frustration when we see someone making what seems like an obvious mistake or acting in a way that defies logic. I've noticed that stupidity isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. It's a complex mix of behaviors and attitudes, often rooted in a lack of intelligence, knowledge, judgment, or even self-awareness. Today, we'll dive into the different types of stupidity I've come across, with examples for each and some practical tips on how to avoid these pitfalls ourselves. 5 different types of stupidity I've observed. 1. Lack of intelligence. Some people struggle due to a genuine lack of mental ability in certain areas. This type of stupidity isn't about intentional actions or attitudes. It's simply the result of limited intellectual capacity. You'll often notice this in people who may struggle with complex problems or need more time to grasp certain concepts. This doesn't make them any less valuable. It's just a natural difference in abilities. Number 2, lack of knowledge. I've seen plenty of examples of people who make silly mistakes simply because they don't have the knowledge needed to make better decisions. A lack of knowledge is often temporary, though, and it's the easiest type of stupidity to fix. These are the people who might make an error at work because they didn't know the right procedure or overlook basic information because they never learned it. 3, lack of judgment. Now, this one I see all the time. People who have the intelligence and knowledge but just make bad decisions. This type of stupidity is about failing to apply what you know or not thinking things through. We all have moments like this, but some people make poor judgment calls consistently, which can be frustrating to witness. You can spot this in people who jump into situations without considering the consequences. Number 4, lack of common sense. Some people seem to completely lack common sense, making you wonder if they're living in the same world as the rest of us. Common sense is about basic awareness and practical thinking, and when someone lacks it, they end up making decisions that defy everyday logic. They might make choices that cause more harm than good, or overlook obvious facts simply because they're not tuned into basic practical thinking. Lack of self-awareness. Self-awareness is all about understanding how you come across to others and recognizing your own limitations. I've met people who seem completely oblivious to their behavior or how it affects others, which often leads them into trouble. They're the ones who might say something inappropriate and not realize why people are upset or misunderstand their own skills, overestimating their abilities. Examples of each type of stupidity. To bring this to life, let's look at some examples. People who make dumb mistakes. This often comes from a lack of intelligence or knowledge, like someone forgetting a basic fact or making an error because they didn't fully understand the situation. People who are unaware of their surroundings. Lack of self-awareness and common sense can lead to oblivious actions, like blocking an exit without realizing the inconvenience they're causing. People who are unable to learn from their mistakes. This shows a lack of judgment. When someone repeatedly makes the same mistake, it's usually because they haven't taken the time to reflect on what went wrong. People who are unable to think for themselves. Sometimes a lack of self-awareness or common sense leads people to rely too much on others' opinions rather than forming their own. They'll go along with the crowd rather than making independent decisions. People who are unable to see the big picture. This can come from limited knowledge or poor judgment. When someone gets caught up in trivial details and misses the larger context, it usually shows a lack of critical thinking. How to avoid being stupid. Yourself. 1. Educate yourself. I've found that staying curious and seeking knowledge is one of the best ways to avoid falling into the trap of ignorance. Read, learn, and ask questions to build your understanding. 2. Think critically about your decisions. Critical thinking is essential for avoiding poor judgment. Try to pause and consider the impact of your decisions before taking action. 3. Be aware of your surroundings. A little mindfulness goes a long way. Pay attention to what's happening around you and be considerate of others. It's one of the best ways to avoid coming across as oblivious. 4. Learn from your mistakes. Reflecting on past errors is a huge growth tool. I've found that the more I analyze my mistakes, the less likely I am to repeat them. 5. Be open to new ideas. Sometimes we get set in our ways, but being open-minded helps us see things differently. Embrace new perspectives and ideas. They can broaden your thinking. The value of understanding these types of stupidity. By recognizing these types of stupidity, you'll not only become better at spotting them in others, but you'll also avoid these behaviors yourself. This awareness can help you make smarter decisions, become a more thoughtful person, and build better relationships. So, as you watch this video, laugh at the funny examples, take notes on how to avoid these mistakes, and enjoy the process of getting a little wiser.